I don't want Edmonton Oilers fans to come into the comments of this video and say nothing. Nothing about how Connor McDavid doesn't get any calls. Oh, he's the best player in the world. He's the superstar that the NHL doesn't protect. They never give calls on McDavid. They don't do this, they don't do that. Please stop. Because Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers, my goodness, what kind of refereeing in this game did we just see? They put the whistles away for the third. I'll give them that. But the Oilers, 5 power play opportunities in this game, and so many of them just questionable calls. Dakota Joshua interference on Connor McDavid, Elias Pettersson charging on Warren Foegele. Like, the calls in this game were atrocious. And there are arguments to be made as to why those calls are calls. Oh, Elias Pettersson turned around and jumped into the check of Foegele, which is why it's a charging penalty, quote-unquote. He left the ice. Oh, Dakota Joshua interfered with McDavid and he caused him to fall down. You know what? I get it. There are reasonable descriptions to these situations that could result in penalties. But in the Stanley Cup Playoffs, in games like these, with the momentum shifting the way it was, the Oilers had 5 power play opportunities. The Canucks had 3. And like, one of them was, you know, in retaliation to even it up, make it 4-on-4. Like, the way this game was policed by the referees was disgraceful. And I think the Connor McDavid angle about it, like, when the Oilers are on the power play, I think it was after the Dakota Joshua penalty, like, when the Oilers were on the power play, Connor McDavid, he went down a few times while just pitter-patter, like, streaking around the offensive zone. Somebody touches him lightly, he falls down to his knees and quickly gets back up. Like, when those moments happen, I'm freaking out of my mind, pulling my hair up because I'm like, they're gonna call another penalty! Like, Connor McDavid goes down so easily, and this was like, you know, Canucks fans have been nasty online. Same with Oilers fans. Both fan bases hate each other now. But I feel like for Connor McDavid, it wasn't until this series where Canucks fans started to point out over and over, hey, this guy goes down easy. Connor McDavid doesn't always stay on his feet. Like, sure, he moves amazingly. He is the best skater in the world with the puck on his stick. He is the best player in the world. I won't discredit Connor McDavid for his talent, but why? Why in the world does this guy go down easily to the little taps that he gets? I'm not saying Dakota Joshua was a tap on him. I'm saying that this guy is like the ultimate penalty drawing machine at this point. Like, please. You had 5 power play attempts, 0 goals. The Canucks found a way to get one over the Oilers on special teams here tonight. And I get it, the Canucks didn't score any power play goals themselves in this one, but just the fact that the Oilers' power play went 0 for 5, that's a huge win for Vancouver. Like, with the amount of torture that the Vancouver Canucks penalty killers have succumbed to at the hands of this Oiler power play, the fact that they went 5 straight without a goal is a huge win for Vancouver. And this game in general was a huge win for Vancouver. We didn't even talk about the score yet. The Canucks win! They win 3-2 in game number 5 over Edmonton. We said it earlier this afternoon. This game was not necessarily a must-win game. They were talking about this on Sportsnet 650 the other day. I was kind of bringing it up to, like, hey, the Canucks are playing with house money in this series. The fact that it's tied 2-2, best 2 out of 3 to advance to the third round, that is a pretty favorable spot. Like, I don't think a lot of people would go out there and say we wouldn't want to be tied 2-2, but they were. And with a win here tonight, they all of a sudden are 1 win away from making the third round for the first time since 2011, baby. And the Oilers, you know how we said in Game 4, the Canucks just did not show up, the team wasn't good, and they let that game get away from them? I'm not saying the Oilers let this game get away from them, but they did not show up in the ways that we thought they could have. I mean, the power plays alone speak to it. Half and half. Canucks doing a really good job penalty killing. The other half, the Oilers just not having their mojo. And really so. I mean, the Canucks had a lot of shorthanded pressure in this game. They were stealing pucks, going down, having some zone time in the Oilers zone whilst on the PK. It was kind of good. But all in all, the 5v5 play is where we see all of the goals scored in this one. And the dynamics of the game were set bright and early after a few power play opportunities by the Oilers. You had Suter for interference, goaltender interference on Calvin Pickard, and immediately after, that's when you see the first goal of the game. It's Evander Kane from Draisaitl and Desharnais. So there you go, Draisaitl getting a point, because he always ends up getting a point here. The Canucks kind of got hemmed in their zone in this shift. The pass was down low to Draisaitl. He got right by Ian Cole, who was supposed to be his check. So yeah, there you go, Ian Cole, nice one again. I won't say this one was like completely his fault. It wasn't as bad as the other ones, but still, it gets by Cole. Draisaitl down low, sends it out to Evander Kane in front, who scores. 5-hole shot. Not the best goal for Arturs Silovs to give up, but it's 1-0 for Edmonton to open up this period. You then have a bunch more penalties taken by the Canucks. Quinn Hughes delay a game puck over the glass. Ian Cole for holding against Holloway, particularly weak call. Then it was equalized by another weak call, this one by Zach Hyman. And then after those penalties expire, you have yourselves the Canucks in the O-zone, tying it up 1-1. It's Carson Soucy. The puck gets sent up into the air. It gets gloved down by a Canuck in front. Swatted away by Corey Perry out to the side, where Soucy picks it up, fires, and scores, ties the game up, and it's a beautiful wrister. There you go, Carson Soucy, equalizing things up for the suspension he got. But wait, because the very next shift, Carson Soucy fumbles on a potential shot attempt. It results in a 2-on-1, and Connor Brown goes over to Mattias Janmark, cross crease, back in the net. It's 2-1 Edmonton. The Oilers responded 23 seconds after Soucy made it 1-1 with a goal of their own, so it's 2-1 to end off the first period. There's a little bit of rough stuff at the end here by Tyler Myers and that same Mattias Janmark. The only goal of the second period is scored by Phil Giuseppe, who we just talked about earlier in today's show as coming back from the dad strength testing labs. Yes, he just had a child, he's back with the team, and in the lineup, he ends up finishing off one of the best moments of referee and fan confusion that we have seen. The Oilers get the puck back into their own zone. It's Leon Draisaitl who plays it into the Oilers zone, but the Canucks were offside. The puck then gets fumbled around in front of the bench a little bit. The referee is yelling, no, it's onside, onside. And the Oilers just kind of stop playing for a bit. The puck eventually finds its way behind the Oiler net. Evan Bouchard is there. He gets checked by Niels Ullmann, gives it up in front. Phil Giuseppe picks it up, wrap around, spinorama, backhander, and he gets it through the wickets of Calvin Pickard on a play where the Oilers were furious. The fans were like, wait, that was offside. But then they reviewed it. They're like, no, Leon Draisaitl played the puck into his own zone, not offside. It's a 2-2 hockey game. At this point, the game gets super rushy. It was just straight end-to-end rushes, 2-on-1s for both teams, back and forth. Great defensive reads by Soucy and great save by Calvin Pickard to thwart these away. But then you have yourselves the penalties that we had just talked about. Elias Pettersson gets himself a penalty for charging. You have Dakota Joshua to the box for tripping McDavid. Connor Mcdiver, man, that was actually trending in Vancouver for a little bit. I think Daniel Wagner had a tweet about Connor Mcdiver, quote unquote, that sort of went a bit viral. But in the third period, this is where the action really starts to pick up. Nils Höglander has a wide open rebound, but he hits the post. So there you go, Hoggy back in the lineup, ends up not converting on the prime scoring opportunity that he has. Giuseppe stood out to me a lot in the third period. He had a monster shift, nearly dangling through the whole team. He also had another fast break driving to the goal where he shot the puck up high. There was a moment in the third period where JT Miller had the puck in the Oilers zone. He tried to send it around to the other side. He did it, but then he realized there was no Canuck there. Turnover, and then you heard Miller yell at the top of his lungs. More profanities in the same way that we had seen Miller yell out multiple times before over the years. But it does not stay that way. Because at the end of the third period, after the Canucks worked their behinds off the entire time to match and overtake Edmonton's pace of play, you had Elias Pettersson, Elias Lindholm, and JT Miller. Lindholm, right side of the Oilers zone. He stares down the middle, chucks it towards the goal. Pettersson kicks the puck off the inside of his heel towards the goal. It goes off the post, and Miller on the rebound makes it a 3-2 game. With 30 seconds to go, Vancouver takes the lead. Pettersson doesn't even see the puck go in at first. He's like whacking away at the rebound on Cal Pickard while the goal horn's going off and the crowd is cheering. Then Pettersson looks at the ref. He notices the guy's hands down, and then he runs over to the Canucks scrum where the team is celebrating. Petey had a great game. He looked so engaged, so in it. He created some offense. He got that elite assist at the end there. And of course, JT Miller, who apologized to his coach via text message the other night for his performance in Game 4, gets the Game 5 winner. Canucks did not look too great in their power plays. Oilers not so much either. But 5v5 play, where the Canucks have been dominant, that is where they win this game. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Canucks and Oilers game number 5. Vancouver has a 3-2 series lead. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.